Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another brand new PNSO release. As you can see, we have the Lurdusaurus, and this one is very exciting. Definitely a species I did not see coming from PNSO, but man, am I ever happy to see it in the line. This is one that I expected to be waiting a very long time to have a figure of, but this looks great from what we can see. As far as the packaging goes, you can see, of course, the name and the name of the species, the PNSO logo up on the top, a different shot there of the head sculpt basically over here on the side, PNSO, again another shot of the figure. On the other side, some information on the back, pretty much the same thing we saw on the front, and then some random info on the underside. So let's pop this box open and check it out. So of course included we have a very nice looking poster potentially. It looks like it is actually a little dino toy photography. I definitely enjoy these posters from PNSO. Oh, okay, so kind of, yeah, I guess it is, sort of. It's very cool. We have a very neat image of the Lurdusaurus. They're kind of swimming through a nice little ocean area or a very large lake, but that's a pretty cool poster, honestly. I actually wasn't expecting it to be quite as nice as it was when I saw that it was like dino toy photography. It definitely turned out even nicer than I was expecting. And then we also, of course, have the standard booklet that you usually get from PNSO, which you will find very nice images of the figure inside, as well as usually some very cool artwork. Yep, there we go. So artwork and stuff like that you'll find. These booklets are always really fun to read. Definitely great additions to each and every PNSO figure. I highly recommend checking this out and giving it a read. And then, of course, our Lurdusaurus figure itself, and man, look at how nice that looks. I think PNSO just every single time continues to blow my mind. And another thing about PNSO is they have absolutely mastered the dark wash of their figures. Like, it does not get any more natural or realistically applied when it comes to the dark wash than what I consistently find on PNSO. Boy, is the color scheme on this ever super cool as well. I love the way that they've created the patterns and the very nice dark browns with those lighter tones. They play off of each other in a really nice way. So I am going to readjust the camera here just a little bit, just to get it up a little bit higher. And then we'll bring it in for a closer look. So starting here in the head sculpt of the Lurdusaurus, you can see the head sculpt is magnificent. We have really nice scales, very fine scales for the majority of the face, some larger scales that you see kind of bordering around the eye area, also on the back end of the lower jaw. And the sculpt again looks great. The paint application looks great. You have some nice dark browns. You even have almost like some purplish sort of tones in there, as well as a nice light kind of a khaki sort of tone moving through the face. We have a yellow eye with a black pupil as well. When you move up here into the beak, we can see the camera doesn't want to focus, apparently. We have like a greenish sort of a tone over the beak, which does look pretty cool. The mouth is sculpted in a closed position. We can also see the nostrils, which the nostrils are highlighted with a... Wow, why does it not want to focus? Highlighted with a darker tone of color. There we go. We can also see a very serious look on the head and face of our Lurdusaurus. When we turn it over here, you can also get a nice shot of the head sculpt and everything and how good it looks. On this side, we can also see the ears sculpted out as we move here back further into the head. As we continue to move along, you start to see some ridges picking up on the top of the neck of the dinosaur. And moving down, we can see the scales looking incredible. Like, look at how impressive the skin texture is on this figure and how great of a job they have done of bringing all of the skin texture out with that. Again, super subtle but super smooth dark wash they've applied. We as well have very nice, very smooth patterning as we move down, again with the lighter and darker shades of browns kind of striping down, and then of course those light kind of khaki tones of color as we lead down that nice long neck. We as well have the throat here moving along the underside, even like some reddish tones as you move down into the underside of the dinosaur, basically into like the chest area and moving into the undersides of the front legs. That reddish tone really pops. If we take it a look again back here at this side, we can see how the the neck looks detail-wise, as well as the skin kind of twisting as the dinosaur has its head turned toward its right, which we can also take note of. Moving down into the body, the skin texture continues to look really nice, really vibrant, very fine, but very vibrant at the same time. We can see that lighter tone kind of stripe up here into the body, with the darker tones basically overtaking the majority of the body at this point, but there are different shades within those darker tones, which I can definitely see. Moving down into the front leg, we've got the elbow present. This front foot is just kind of picking up off of the ground, and all of the detail of that movement is shown off nicely, even the creasing there in the wrist. Moving down into the foot sculpt looks pretty nice. You've got the classic thumb claw over here looking really good, painted with a nice light tone. The nails are a little more rounded, I think, than I would like, but they still look pretty good. As you move up into the stomach, we've got the skin kind of stretching off of the stomach right there, as the leg again is walking and this leg is trailing. More of those sort of reddish brown tones, which I think look really nice. Again, the dark wash highlighting the detail on the underside really nicely. Moving down through the rear leg, we've got the hip bone there protruding through the skin. The muscle definition shown off again in a way where it's not shrink wrapped and definitely quite realistic. We have the kneecap on the front of the leg. Again, the skin texture continues to look really crisp the entire way down. We can see the calf muscle defined, and the toes are picking up off of the ground on this side as the dinosaur is about to take a step. I think the nails actually look really nice on the back foot here. Again, a little bit better than what we had seen on the front foot, but overall none of them happen to look bad. But the toes are bent really nicely, again showing that walking motion. And then as we move back, we can see the stripes kind of, striping through the back of the thigh, and then leading out into the tail, we have more of those ridges following along the back. They actually transition to a grayish tone for a while, then they stop abruptly and then turn back to the various browns, then back to gray, and then back to browns the entire way out through the rest of the tail. And as we can see, those darker patterns kind of break up, and they also turn into different shades of browns. Like we've got a really dark brown here, a somewhat lighter but still fairly dark brown there. We have a very nice curve to the tail moving out on top of everything, giving the dinosaur a very majestic look. Moving along the underside, we can see that dark wash again really highlighting the detail beautifully. A pinkish tone there, kind of highlighting the cloaca of the dinosaur. And again, the skin texture is absolutely phenomenal the entire way through. On the other side, the biggest difference you're going to see, for one thing, is the fact that the head is facing away from us on this side, but also the legs are held a little bit closer together compared to what we see on the other side. Obviously, that's reflected when it comes to the skin wrinkling and creasing here in the stomach, as both legs are kind of pushing into the stomach a little bit right there. The skin detail and the fine detail as a whole from PNSO is on another level. It is absolutely incredible. But the foot sculpt on both the front and rear feet look great, and again, the paintwork on this is seriously incredible. Like, PNSO's paint jobs have never been better or more crisp than they are now. That is an unreal release from PNSO. I cannot even begin to stress how much I love this figure. So as far as a size goes on it, for a length from the tail to the beak, about 9 inches or around 23 centimeters, and then for a height, about 3 inches or 7.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect Day Human Being. And as we can see, the Lurdusaurus is pretty close to Attack Pack size range, as it's not too far off from that Colovosaurus. We've also got the Lurdusaurus relative here with the PNSO Iguanodon, which we can see the Iguanodon is quite a bit larger, as well as another species that the Lurdusaurus probably had to contend with when it comes to the PNSO Suchomimus next to the Lurdusaurus. You can clearly see the Suchomimus is a little bit bigger. And another species the Lurdusaurus is familiar with, as we have the Howlong Good Ouranosaurus, which is of a similar size. And since I don't really have any other Lurdusaurus in my collection at all, we have another Iguanodon here with the Howlong Good version, showing you that, again, the Iguanodon is a bit larger than our Lurdusaurus. So this PNSO release is fantastic. I absolutely love everything about this. From the species to the sculpt to the paint job, it is a home run the entire way through. Lurdusaurus is a very cool species of dinosaur, one that I've definitely been wanting to see a figure of, and I'm really happy to see that PNSO is is the company that brings me my very first version of it, and I think it is excellent. The sculpt is really nicely done. The fine detail is really nicely done. The pose as well looks great as it's just kind of walking along, maybe looking slightly curious over toward its right. It has a really nice and lifelike and natural pose. Gorgeous curvatures to the tail as well, giving it a majestic look. And the paint job is extremely well done. All of the patterns are very smooth and natural. There's a lot of variation of color throughout. And again, a very cool and very striking but very natural look when it comes to the paint application and paint scheme. And they've applied the dark wash as per usual perfectly. On top of that, it's nice and small, so it's a figure that you shouldn't have any problems fitting into your collection. It's not super small or anything, but it's not like by any means a massive figure. So that as well is a plus. But overall, this is a definite must-have. If you are interested, I will include a link in the description to where you can purchase it on the Amazon and Aliexpress PNSO stores. So check those links, pick this up, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.